As promised, the great hunting weather that brought so much good action the past 2 episodes has moved on, replaced by above average heat. Wasting no days, the team makes the most of the conditions. Falling on a weekend, Mike takes advantage of the warm weather to take a break from hunting Kelce. Instead, he focuses his efforts on hanging a new stand in a location that he's had his eye on ever since hunting the property for the first time back in 2021. Making a full day of hunts in the stand, Mike loves the location, and with vacation ahead of him, he plans to return when the wind is right. Owen Riegler continues to play cat and mouse with the wide 9, missing no beats with the shifting wind directions. His hard work in the off-season and attention to the details affords him plenty of southwind options in the buck's assumed core range. Despite the heat, Owen has good hunts laying eyes on a different mature buck meandering through nearby CRP. Kaleb Greiner continues to spend his time bouncing between hunting with girlfriend Casey Murray and taking shots on the farm he's hunting Hog Jr., hoping to learn more about how the deer work through the property.
Well, we are back after it. I hunted this plot, the first set for myself for the year. Guards was on this plot this morning, but he was also here last night. The goal for tonight is just to film this deer. I don't really want to shoot him. But I do want to get an in-person look at it. It looks like it did a good jump from last year, but we've got a really good northwest wind. It's changing from south to northwest. So with any luck, hopefully these deer are on their feet tonight and we can get eyes on this guard's buck.
Even though the buck known as Guards was absent from the evening's festivities, the show put on by the Bobcat and Raccoons goes down as one of the coolest wildlife encounters in Midwest whitetail history. Despite the slower hunting in Iowa, back in northern Missouri, team member Justin Luebrecht continues to stack up the season's encounters with mature bucks. After the duel with Bowser earlier in the month, Justin switched gears back to hunting the Missouri legend known as Velveeta. Following an enjoyable evening of deer activity, a last light glimpse provides the first encounter of the season with the buck, confirming that Justin is in the game. On the afternoon of October 24th, a cold front is rolling through, seeing Justin use the same great access as he did early in the season, returning to the redneck blind overlooking the Nebraska plot.
Even set up. I literally been in the blind no more than a minute. I mean, I don't even have nothing ready. Well, guys, as you could tell, I literally just got in the stand. I was starting to get everything unpacked, and I look out and I see 3 does pop out, and I'm just about done getting my stuff ready and look, and it's the buck I'm in here after, Velveeta. He's yet slipped by me again in bow range. I couldn't do nothing about it. He come right in on the backside of the scrape tree. I tell you, I don't know. That's the 3rd time I've had an encounter with him here. 2 times was in bow range, in self-filming, I just couldn't get it done again. But that's the buck we're in here after. We've got absolutely perfect conditions. It's 3:45 right now. And he was already on the plot as we've been extremely dry. We had our first rain started last night around 10 o'clock, and it's rained all the way till 1, and it just stopped. I knew it was gonna be a magical evening, but we're gonna get settled in here, and hopefully he makes another appearance.
The following day, the same front that hit northern Missouri spawning great action is continuing to blow through, bringing with it northerly winds. 205 miles to the northwest of Justin, Owen Riegler is hunting the backside of the front, diving back into the wide nines core area.
Well, we're back with you here, October 25th. It's about 3:30. I can't imagine conditions being much better. It's like 44 degrees, something like that. We got a pretty strong north wind, north-northwest. We came back to the infamous walnut again. You know, we're at the risk of overhunting this, but for a north wind, this is kind of our spot for that wide nine. I wouldn't mind hunting on the other side of this cornfield either, but all I've got is southwind stuff down there, so... You know, plus I love this spot right here. I've seen more big deer cruise up and down between these two fields right here. It's just a heck of a funnel. But the only thing that's a little concerning is when we got in here, we ran a wide buck out that was bedded on the other side of this ditch right here, and we couldn't tell what deer it was, so... You know, if that was the wide nine, that would have just ruined our hunt, so let's hope that wasn't him, but... We'll set in here about 3 hours, and should be a pretty good hunt, I do believe.
That same afternoon, 150 miles to the northeast, Gavin Koterba is gearing up to finally make another hunt overlooking the public land scrape. With recent photos of the giant buck in daylight, Gavin finally has the wind he's been waiting for.
Alright guys, it is October 25th today. Ben and I are back out on this public. Made the long walk in here, it's about a mile and a quarter. And we're set up kind of in this maple thicket here. This is the third time we've hunted this spot now. It's been about 10 or so days since the last time we hunted it. We actually got skunked the last time. But we got high hopes for tonight just based on these conditions, and we get some really good deer in here too, so I actually have a mock scrape down below me that I set up back in the summer here. And I've got a cell camera on it that I've been getting pictures of 4 shooters so far, and more just seem to keep popping up. One that's a really, really big deer, to say the least. He's just a tank of a body of a deer. Old, clearly, and just crazy mass, crazy spread, everything. He's just a giant. Got lots of options in here tonight. Conditions, as you can tell, it's kind of raining a little bit. So I'm hoping that these bucks will want to just come freshen this scrape up tonight. And I think we're in the chips. We've seen a few deer just running around back here already. So they're definitely on their feet. I found in these drizzly conditions, deer really like to move and move early too. They feel pretty comfortable. So we'll sit tight tonight. Hopefully we can get it done. Look forward to what we got to come here. Did he get our wind?
Yeah.
As soon as he started walking towards the slough, I was like, we're done. Dang it, man. I didn't even shoot him, and I'm just shaking like a leaf over here. Well, you guys, I don't have much to say after that. That's the biggest deer I've ever encountered. Hunting for myself, by far. Ben and I are still extremely shook up. I have a hard time standing here without shaking. All that happened was I was just looking around. Ben was filming some B-roll or whatever. I hear something just lightly, a stick lightly break or something, nothing crazy. And I just see a deer standing there, and I can just see the left side of his beam coming around from behind a tree. And I said, that's him. There's no other deer out here that's that big. He was just kind of standing there chewing his cud. Like a cow almost. I don't know what his deal was, but I mean, Ben said that was a 20-minute encounter, so he was in no hurry whatsoever. He started working towards a slough here, And I knew that we weren't gonna have a shot at him. I got all these branches off this birch tree behind us, so I couldn't get a shot. I drew my bow thinking I might be able to, but he came into the slough. I foolishly snort-wheezed at him. That's downwind. And he walked 5 steps this way into the wind and caught us and ran off, so not exactly my smartest move, but shook, to say the least. That's about all I got. I'm gonna sit here for a little while and calm down, or at least try to, so hopefully it's still a good night.
While Gavin tries to process what just happened, Owen's hunt comes to an abrupt end as a group of dogs interrupt the evening right at prime time. The following day, Owen decides to give the spot a break, switching back to target the Wolverine buck.
Well, here it is, 3:40, October 26th. We came back to a tree that we hunted quite a bit last year. We had a big split G2 buck that we hunted right here. We had a good encounter with him. We had some winter wheat here. This year, this whole field's corn. The buck we're after today would be that Wolverine buck. But also, Devin brought his bow. And there's a kicker G2 buck in here that I had the encounter with, the snort-wheeze encounter last year. It's warmed up a little bit. It's high 50s, almost no wind out of the east, northeast, which is carrying kind of like that. But it'll be an enjoyable evening, I'm sure of that. We'll set in here about 3 hours, see what happens.
The Wolverine is a no-show. Owen enjoys an awesome evening in the southern Iowa woods. The next morning, October 27th, dawns cool, and Mike Reed is set up in the new stand he hung a few days prior.
Good morning. It is Thursday, October 27th. Got a nice cool morning. It's mid-30s, east-southeast wind, high pressure, but the air still feels a little heavy. Ryan and I are back down at the River Bottom Farm. We're back in this pond set. There's been a lot of activity on the farm the last couple days. We got that front that blew through, and wind switched out of the north. Everything cooled off. You know, it rained, and so the scrapes have been, I mean, all the bucks are hitting the scrapes. The cameras have been going crazy. We got pictures of Kelce back in the big peninsula. He had been fighting. He's got hair missing off of his shoulders and blood and everything else, so they're really feeling it. It's my favorite time of year to be in a tree. We're gonna do some rattling this morning. In fact, I'm gonna do a sequence here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. We
gonna enjoy the sunrise for a couple more minutes and then see if we can't rattle Kelce in. There's the buck. It's Kelce. There's does that are trying to come in here, though. All right, that doe's coming in here. He's following her. There he is. You see him right there? That's him right there in the light. You see him?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's standing there. He just moved his head.
Okay, he's moving to the right.
I don't want to call too loud. It's so... Okay, red tree. He's coming this direction. Don't go on that side. Encounter number one with Kelce. I thought that was going to happen there for a minute. He was off on the other side of the peninsula, and I just spotted a group of deer. I spotted a small buck. And I couldn't see him very well, just glassed, and all of a sudden, he was in the group. And the main doe was heading this way, but then she ended up turning and going out to the grass, and he worked his way back. And so when he got along the river and was heading away from us, I did a little rattling, and then I spotted him. He started working a scrape, and then he made his way this direction, stopped and worked a scrape at about 80 yards. And the closest he got was about 46 at walking. And when he got down to these logs right here, I was hoping he'd turn and come on this side. But he stood there and looked around, and he stopped at 55, but he ended up going into the peninsula. So he may be going in there to bed. He may just go make a loop in there and come back out. So it's not over yet. horse. What a super mature deer. I mean, he looked huge-bodied last year. It's an awesome-looking buck. I got my heart set on Kelce, so I'm going to stay after Kelce. It is one that I had talked to Rye about shooting, but he didn't bring his bow, so he went back into the peninsula the same way Kelce did. We'll see if it doesn't get something stirred up.
Following his first encounter with Kelce, the winds began to switch, forcing Mike to make a move to a nearby observation stand.
Well, it's a little bit before 4 o'clock, and we are all set up for the afternoon hunt. We've moved about 150, 200 yards to the north. This wind, this southeast wind, has kind of switched to more easterly and east-northeast. So I just backed up right off the river. Our wind's blowing over the river, and we're between the two peninsulas. This morning we were hunting over my left shoulder here, and it's as much as an observation sit as anything, but sets up well for calling. They can't really get downwind of us without me getting a shot. So we're just gonna sit back and relax. We got 3 hours to go, and hopefully we have some good activity.
That same evening, 150 miles to the south, Justin Luebrecht is back on stand taking a shot at Bowser.
Guys, it's the evening of October the 27th, and Mitch and I just got settled into the tree. We're going after Bowser tonight. We haven't been hunting this particular deer for probably about 2 weeks, and we just got some recent MRI this morning on the cameras. He was in here, bumped some does around. So that's why we're over here. We're just basically going off the MRI, and the conditions are so-so. We got a mediocre wind here, but I think we'll be fine. I just hope it stays blowing at a consistent speed like it is right now. So we're gonna get settled in here, and hopefully Bowser will make an appearance. We're just now doing a closing interview as Bowser ended up coming back out. I mean, he was reading a script. He come all the way across the field down in the corner. Except he cut into the corner exactly before he come to us, and then he got down in here in the timber. We grunted at him a few times. We just never could get him to close the distance. And he kind of fed off in there, but I don't know where we'll be back at it next. I had another buck show up over at Dad's tonight that we call Marty. He's a 6-year-old, so we've had several options coming in the next 2 weeks when the bow hunt's gonna start getting really good, so we'll be back at it somewhere.
The following day, Mike decides to switch farms, giving hunting Kelce a break. With light and variable winds, he opts for a redneck blind that has a few good bucks in the area.
We have made the move for the afternoon hunt across the river from where we're hunting this morning. This is that 28-acre piece I picked up last year. The wind is basically straight out of the east, but it's doing a few southerly kicks and a few northerly kicks, and this blind sets up perfect for any east, and I just thought I'd give that area a break. I don't want to end up putting too much pressure on Kelce, so we decided to come over here, and we're hunting over this corn plot. The main deer I'd like to lay eyes on here is that buck we call Rocky. I filmed him twice last year. Real heavy deer. He looks great this year. I'd like to see what he looks like in person. I would say he's at least a 5-year-old this year. There's another good buck that we filmed last year that looked like a 3-year-old 10 last year. We had him come under us November 7th. And he looks pretty good too. He's a big 4-year-old. So it'd be nice to lay eyes on him, see what he looks like. We'll see how the afternoon unfolds.
As Mike settles in for the hunt, 530 miles to the east in southern Ohio, the father-son duo of Tabb and Tabb Justus are heading in for the afternoon sit.
Well, good evening and welcome to Midwest Whitetail. I'm Tabb Justus and I'm out here on Jake's farm in Ohio. It is Friday evening, the 28th. We're coming into Halloween weekend, so deer should start be feeling the rut type deal. It is extremely warm tonight, so I'm not sure how many deer we're actually going to see. It is dry. The clover is burnt off from how dry it is, and so we're just going to give it a shot and see what happens. Next week the rut will really be kicking in, but for this week we're dealing with the warm weather and we'll just see what comes in tonight. That's a big deer. I think I know that deer from last year, but I never named him. He's the no-name buck now. Has not been on camera much this year. I've not gotten pictures of him yet. Man, that got us both excited. Jake thinks he's still in the field. There's a hump there, and you can't quite see. So we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled here and see if he comes back in. Whew. Man, how's that for close? Keep your eye out that way, because I can't see back towards the house at all. He didn't go behind us. He's gonna be close. He's going behind the blind, I think.
doe. Okay. Okay, here it comes. I got him. I got him. Get it? Yeah, right in the shoulder. See it? Yeah. Go down, go down, go down. He's down. Wow! Yes! Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Oh. That's a long time coming, brother. Thank you, Jake. Thank you. So the moral of the story is, no matter what's on the camera today, you never know what's going to be on camera tomorrow. Jake is 99% sure that that's the same buck he had, and we'll throw up a picture of last year at an 8-point. And this year's a 9-point, and he came in behind us and made a big circle behind the blind. We thought we had lost him, and he came in at literally a 17-yard shot. So it's a dynamite hunt, and I want to thank Jake for letting me come out and do this. Here, let's... oh, man. Oh, he's a bruiser. He is an absolute bruiser. Talk about blessed. Ooh. First to kill a buck like this and have my grandkids, my daughter-in-law, everybody here. This is phenomenal. Well, it is October 28th, and obviously this is my best bow kill ever. The rut hasn't even really kicked in, and just blessed to have this buck come into 17 yards, and just happy to have my grandkids here for the recovery. Jake and Amy, thanks for letting me hunt on their farm. This is just a phenomenal deer. Thanks for watching Midwest Whitetail.
While Tabb and Jake celebrate the giant Ohio buck, back in eastern Iowa, Mike Reed is about to release an arrow of his own.
She's down. Well, not bad for 4:30. That is an old doe, man. That's great. Boy, that got exciting for a minute. What a buck. That's a great deer. That's the one I was mentioning in the opening interview that I said there's a good 4-year-old out here that we filmed last year on November 7th. He made a great jump this year. So he's like one of these that's 4 or 5 now. On 28 acres, you know, it's probably crazy not to shoot him if you get him in front of you, just because he doesn't really live on here. But, you know, with having deer that are 6 for sure, like Kelce, it's one that seems to make sense to try to see if we can get him to an older age class. It's awesome to lay eyes on him. He's one I really wanted to see what he looked like in person. Got that doe down in the lane, a couple does and small bucks. You know, went and checked
her out for quite a while, and the little bucks worked their way up to the food plot. We'll see how the next 20 minutes goes. Encounter number one with Kelce. I thought that was going to happen there for a minute. But when he got along the river and was heading away from us, I did a little rattling. And then he made his way this direction. He ended up going into the peninsula, so he may just go make a loop in there and come back out, so it's not over yet.
I don't have much to say after that. That's the biggest deer I've ever encountered. I don't know what his deal was, but I mean, Ben said that was a 20-minute encounter, so we're gonna be hunting this deer. After an encounter like that, I mean, he was at bow range the entire time. Shook, to say the least. That's about all I got.
Just blessed to have this buck come into 17 yards. The rut hasn't even really kicked in, and just happy to have my grandkids here for the recovery. Jake and Amy, thanks for letting me hunt on their farm. This is just a phenomenal deer.
After the previous 3 weeks of action, it's hard to think that anything could top them. But as it seems to do every season, the final days of October have delivered. A noticeable shift is taking place in the deer woods of the Midwest, tipping the scales in the favor of the deer hunter, evident by the heart-pumping experiences this episode has provided the team. Gavin Koterba was a mere 25 yards away from the biggest buck he's ever seen, and with no time to waste, he must figure out his next move. Mike Reed narrowly missed an opportunity to tag his second buck of the season after cracking the horns together, reeled in the tight frame 6x5 just out of bow range. And Tabb Justus's incredible Ohio hunt showed us what hunting is truly about, building memories with the entire family and passing on the traditions we all hold dearly. Though the best days still lie ahead, we can't help but hope that October still has something left in the tank. Regardless of tomorrow's outcome, one thing is certain. Those of us with tags will take to our stands, dreaming of the time when we will finally be chasing November.